Hello everyone, factoring into today's second video, going to have a look at the weather for the next 10 to 14 days for today's second video. So day 10 is going to take us around the 20th of September. We'll be able to extend out beyond that, the extended GFS and ECM ensembles, run to around a couple of weeks. And we're having a look at Beijing Climate Centre, I think, today for the next 40 days. Big thank you to my good friend Dylan Holbrook for sending through those charts, as they are still inaccessible for me on my desktop. So I shall get on with that for you very shortly. We'll begin by having a look at what's happening in the tropical Atlantic and tell you it's all happening in the tropical Atlantic, and we'll begin with that very, very shortly. So I'm going to say a big thank you to our latest channel member. We picked up a new channel member for GavsWeatherVids in the live stream last night. Great live stream. Thank you everybody for checking in and making it a fantastic live stream. So I'm going to say thank you so much to Ryan56. Thank you so much to Ryan56 for becoming a GavsWeatherVids channel member. It's incredible. It's amazing. We've got over 40 channel members now. And as well as all our patrons and all our PayPal donors as well, the support that you give to GavsWeatherVids is absolutely incredible. So thank you to each and every one of you, and thank you so much to Ryan56 for becoming GavsWeatherVids' latest channel member. If you'd like to become a channel member for GavsWeatherVids, all you need to do is come to GavsWeatherVids' YouTube homepage, click the join button. And you see the join button with all the videos as well, by the way. So that'll take you to another page where you see what benefits you get for becoming a channel member. And you can also sign up for channel membership on that page as well. Thank you so much to all of our channel members for the support you've given to GavsWeatherVids, and also to our PayPal donors and to our patrons as well. You can support GavsWeatherVids in other ways, though. It doesn't have to be financial. You can support us by watching videos, by liking videos, by sharing videos, by subscribing to the channel. The subs are lifting up very, very nicely. We're at 7,410 at the moment. And yeah, so you can support GavsWeatherVids in so many different ways, by liking, by sharing, by subscribing, by telling your friends. And if you aren't subbed to the channel yet, then please give us a sub. And yeah, we'll get ourselves to 8k subscribers, I would have thought, hopefully by the end of the year. But it may be a bit of a tall order to do that, but it would be nice if we could. Right, so that's all of that done. So I think get on video now then. So let's begin. We're going to start off in the tropical Atlantic. So here we go. Now we've got disturbance after disturbance area here. So we've got two yellow X's. Let's deal with those. First of all, the yellow X just there, yellow X just there. Disturbance 1 has a 10% chance of cyclone formation in the next 48 hours, a 10% chance in the next 5 days. Disturbance 2 has a 0% chance of cyclone formation in the next 48 hours and a 20% chance in the next 5 days. They may or may not do something that impacts the southeast of America, but at the moment it looks relatively low risk that anything's going to happen with those. But you never know, something might conducive. So, you know, something might happen that makes it conducive for development. We've got an orange X over here, still in land over Africa, but about to hit the coast of the Atlantic. So that's disturbance 3. Got a 60% chance of cyclone formation in the next 48 hours, but a 90% chance in the next 5 days. They say the tropical wave is forecast to move off the west coast of Africa later today. Gradual development is anticipated once the system moves over water, and a tropical depression is expected to form late this week or over the weekend, while the system moves generally westward across the eastern tropical Atlantic. That will almost certainly become a tropical storm within the next day or so. We've also got Rene just here, tropical storm Rene, which is currently giving maximum sustained winds of 40 miles per hour with a minimum set pressure of 1,003 millibars, moving west-northwestwards at 9 miles per hour. Clicking on Rene shows what is likely to happen with this one. So it's going to become a short-lived hurricane, I should say. So at the moment, Tropical Storm Rene is just there. By Saturday, becoming a Category 1 hurricane, and then going back down Tropical Storm status as Rene moves northwards, to be somewhere around there early next week. So still as a tropical storm though, so I mean that could develop into hurricane again later next week. Have to wait and see. And then we've also got Tropical Storm Paulette just here. Tropical Storm Paulette is giving maximum sustained winds of 16 miles per hour with a minimum set pressure of 996 millibars, moving northwestwards at 10 miles per hour. Clicking on Paulette shows what's likely to happen. So this looks like it's going to become a hurricane early next week. The current position of Paulette is here. By the early part of next week, Monday, Tuesday, Hurricane Paulette is hitting Bermuda. Hurricane Paulette is forecast to give a direct hit on Bermuda early next week. Let's see what the forecast is in terms of Paulette. So it looks like it's going to become a Category 1 hurricane hitting Bermuda early next week, giving maximum sustained winds of 75 to 85 miles per hour. That does get it to Category 1 status. Of course, it might power up beyond that as it gradually pushes north. As far as we go with Paulette is to Tuesday, when it's giving a direct, Monday to Tuesday is when it's giving, or forecast give a direct hit on Bermuda. So, I mean, it's going to push northwards, presumably, or it might move in that sort of direction, or it might move in that sort of direction, and it could power up further. So, as far as we get to with Paulette is that it's a Category 1 hurricane. It's all going on as we are now in peak hurricane season. September is the peak month for hurricanes, and we shall see how it all plays out over the coming days. Setting temperature is looking like this for September. So far, provisionally, we are standing at 15.2, which is an anomaly of 0.7 degrees above average. That's provisional to yesterday, the 9th of September. That will probably tick down slightly over the next couple of days as we are having some cooler nights. Over weekend, though, and particularly into the early part of next week, that is going to rocket, I think. We'll see that rocketing through the early part of next week. Be interesting to see how high that goes, but I wouldn't rule out that it gets into the 17s, actually, through, like, the early part of next week. I wouldn't rule that out, because we are going to get a couple of really, really warm to very, time of year, unusually hot days, I think, for the early part of next week. So we shall see about that. These are the 500 millibar high anomaly flow charts for Penn State University for the next week to 10 days. We've got the ECMWF on the top and the GFS, which I'll look in a moment, is on the bottom. So 500 millibars is now in the actual high pressure, low pressure, are being moved around by the jet stream running above. Red extrapolates high pressure, blue to low pressure. These are getting us around the 20th of September, so into the middle of the third week of September. And you can see that with the ECM, we've got high pressure in control still. So high pressure remains over to the northern country, low pressure cut off down towards Spain and Portugal. And that's drawing in very warm or potentially even hot southerly to southeasterly winds from the south. So becoming very warm to, or staying, I suppose, very warm to hot, really, with the ECMWF, even up to day 10. Now, the GFS is very, very different. This is how the GFS is looking, with the ridge of above average heights. It's going to give us a very warm weather early next week, receding back to northeastern Europe. And low pressure coming in from the Atlantic. GFS brings low pressure and autumn in from off the Atlantic as we get through to 7 to 10 day time frame. So that will be a lot cooler and it will be a lot more unsettled as well with the GFS. So the ECM suggests dry and very warm weather. The continuing like beyond the middle part of the month. The GFS wants to end that dry and warm weather and turn things quite a lot cooler and a lot more unsettled. These are the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles the next couple of weeks on Nottingham today. The red line is a 30-year upper air temperature average for Nottingham. We're starting off around, or perhaps even ever so slightly below average for today. And over the weekend, generally light temperature a little bit up and down, but later in the weekend through to next week, that's when the temperature, upper air temperatures and surface temperatures are really lifting up, really taking off, reaching 15 degrees at 850 HPA from Monday through to Wednesday. After that, the GFS produces a gradual decline in temperature, although maybe not as quickly as it was showing yesterday. And now, when we get back to average, that's being pushed back more or less to the final week of September now. So maybe extending the warmth out actually with the GFS ensembles for a few days through the second half of next week at a slightly lower level. I mean, this is really hot stuff for September. But even like as it begins to cool down for the second half of next week, it is quite a slow cool down, really. Precipitation wise, we look like this. Loads of dry weather in the next week. Lots of dry weather in the next week. And then becoming much more unsettled, though, as we go from the middle of September onwards into the final week of the month. Regular precipitation spikes coming back then. So turning increasingly unsettled and cooling down through the second half of September, but taking a little while to cool down with the GFS ensembles. Temperature anomalies from the 10th to the 18th of September, generally on the warmer than average side. Precipitation anomalies from the 10th to the 18th of September, generally drier than average. This is how the latest wind flow map is looking from earthnullschool.net. So low pressure is around Iceland. We've got low pressure around Iceland up here and just there. Jet stream is up there as well. However, to our south and east, high pressure is developing. This high pressure is going to take over in the coming days and will deliver us a lot of dry and increasingly warm weather, particularly through the early part of next week. That's how the GFS is looking for Sunday. Low pressure to our north, high pressure to our south on Sunday, bringing in a west to southwester across the country. So for England and Wales, it's going to be mainly dry and increasingly warm. For Scotland and Northern Ireland, it could well be a little bit more unsettled. Monday through to Tuesday, yes, up comes those southerly winds, hot southerly winds pushing up with the UK Met Office. Low pressure is down to our southwest. That may be the trigger for some thunderstorms on Tuesday in the southwest, but the main thing through the early part of next week is the push up in the temperature. By the time we get through to Wednesday, it's all becoming rather slack, and we could be starting to see an increasing risk of thunderstorms breaking out. Still very warm to hot, though, down in the south. GFS looks like that. Again, high pressure to our south, low pressure to the north on Sunday. Increasingly warm and dry. And that carries on, continues. In fact, it intensifies through the early part of next week. Winds probably pushing up from the south. These are the upper air temperatures for Monday, showing the UK bathed in very warm air on Monday. But it turns even hotter as we go through into Tuesday. Again, the high pressure is drifting over towards central and eastern parts of Europe. Low pressure is out to our west. We're pulling up those very warm to hot southerly winds. Look at the upper air temperatures across England and Wales. We are within the 15 Celsius ice firm. That looks really hot, I have to say. That could well be lifting temperatures to around 30, 31, maybe 32 degrees down in the southeast. I wouldn't rule it out. That would be 90 Fahrenheit, somewhere like London on Tuesday. But with an increasing risk of thundery showers breaking out, and that sort of continues and develops through the middle and second half next week as the high pressure begins to slip towards the northeast. Low pressure tucks in from the south and also from west. It's a pizza movement going on against this high pressure that turns us increasingly unsettled and potentially thundering. So by the time we get through to the end of next week, we've had a proper thundery breakdown. This is Friday the 18th of September and a trough of low pressure now. Showers, longer spell of rain, probably thunder initially, and temperature cooling down a lot. Notice this thing just here. That is the remains of Hurricane Paulette moving into the North Atlantic. That is Paulette moving into the North Atlantic on Friday as a very, very intense ex-hurricane off Newfoundland. As we move up towards day 10, Paulette begins to dive southwards into the central part of the North Atlantic, and that starts to inflate a ridge close to us again. So we don't get a direct hit from Paulette, but it does have an effect on our weather, and the effect is actually to start to inflate a ridge again around the UK. So we're back to high pressure again as we go through the third week of September. That's a direct result of what Paulette is doing. We finish up with high pressure drifting over to the east. We're back up to those warm southerly winds once again. GM looks like that. So again, on Sunday, high pressure south, low pressure north, a lot of dry and very warm weather down in south on Sunday. For the early part of next week, we're going to have this push up in the temperature. Yes, heat spike coming up early next week, lift temperatures into the 30s Celsius. Through the middle and second half of next week, unlike the GFS, the GM is not producing a thundery breakdown. It just takes a high pressure northwards, which probably pulls in some slightly cooler air from east, but keeps things mainly dry actually into the second half of next week. High pressure all the way, really, as we get to day 10, which is Sunday, the 20th of September. Winds are in from the east then, so that is bringing the air in off the North Sea. It could be lowering the temperature a little bit, but high pressure keeps things very, very dry up to day 10. And then we've got the ECMWF again with low pressure to the north, high pressure to the south on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Up comes those very warm to hot southerly winds, lifting the temperature into the 30 Celsius. Maybe some thundery showers breaking out from Tuesday to Wednesday. But overall, again, very similar to the GM, the ECM wants to keep high pressure going. Again, Paulette is coming into the North Atlantic. There's the remains of Paulette just there. So let's see what happens in the extended range with the ECM. Looks like it's just a high pressure fest, really, high and dry with the ECM right the way up to day 10. Winds turn into the east. It's still very warm easterlies, but of course they're running over the North Sea, so probably lowers the temperatures a little bit. That's where the remains of Paulette goes with the ECM just to there, I think. So, yes, it's looking really dry and very warm, actually, with the GM and the ECM right way up to day 10. The GFS does want to produce a thundery breakdown that quickly gets us back to high pressure. So this September is now shaping up to be very anticyclonic with a lot of warm and dry weather possible. Rainfall forecast based on that ECM run from Meteo.com looks like this. So, showery in the northwest over coming days, a lot of dry weather down in the south. Early next week, more rain coming and going across Scotland, Northern Ireland. Again, England, Wales, mainly dry. Winds turning around to the south, putting up those hot southerly winds. Early next week, we find some heavy showers and thunderstorms flirting with the far south and southwest, but many places are looking dry. And then moving up towards day 10, again, the idea is that we have heavy showers and thunderstorms just sort of in the far south to southwest, but the emphasis continues to be on dry weather. So for a lot of places, southern and eastern areas anyway, that is producing like 10 days without any measurable rain. A very dry September could be emerging. These are the options on the table within the ECM ensembles for day 10, which gets us to the 20th of September. 34 members of the ECM ensembles with high pressure to our north, low pressure to our south, winds in from the east. So mainly dry and warm, or very warm with that. That does include the operational run as well. The operational run was very well supported by the ECM ensembles today. 17 with high pressure over and to the south of the country, low pressure is up to the north, winds are in from the west. So, probably a lot of dry weather down in the south and a bit showery up in the north. In 2 weeks' time, these are the options that we've got. This gets us to the 25th of September. So 32 members of the ECM ensemble still with that Scandinavian high going on. The low pressure to the south-southwest is trying to bring a breakdown, but it looks rather flimsy. And 19 just here has us still under high pressure. I think this could be turning out now to be a very anticyclonic September, and probably will be regarded this September as an extension of summer in most places. Finally, the Beijing Climate Centre, these are 500 millimeter heights. They break down to 10-day periods. The first 10-day period takes us from the 11th, 20th of September. This looks quite unsettled. It could be nowhere near as unsettled as that is showing, so it's already off on a tangent for the coming 10 days. The next 10-day period takes us from the 21st to 30th of September. High pressure then does develop properly, brings us a dry and very warm end to September, potentially. Next 10-day period is the 1st to 10th of October. Low pressure is out to west, trying to bring in a little bit of a breakdown. And the final 10-day period is the 11th to the 20th of September. And again, low pressure is out to the west, but still really being fended off actually by the ridge to the east, I have to say. So what a high pressure fest. What a high pressure fest this September is turning into. Big thank you to Dylan Holbrook for sending those through to me. Right, last thing I'm going to leave with is, if you're enjoying the content on the channel at the moment, please can you click like, please can you tell your friends, and make sure you are subscribed to the channel. So like, subscribe, don't forget to tell your friends about GavsWeatherVids, and yeah, it's absolutely great if everybody can do that. So that's it for today's videos. Tomorrow we've got German Friday coming up, and we'll also have a 10 to 14 day update, all the regular features as well. I know a lot of you are wondering about when you're going to be seeing the verification for summer forecast. I'm hoping to get that up for you as the first video up on Saturday. Hopefully that will be the first video released on Saturday. But for today's videos, that's all for now, and thanks for watching.